Hey everybody, I just want to do a review of a new ukulele. It's new to me, it's not new to the market. It's been out about 2 years or a little more than 2 years. And this company was started for a couple of reasons, and they gave me this ukulele. That's a disclaimer in this. They gave this to me for a couple of reasons. One is that when I get done with it, they probably won't want it back. But the thing that's cool about this is it's an unfinished ukulele. And like I say, they've been doing this for a couple of years before a lot of the other companies got involved. It's a company called Butterfly Ukuleles, and it's a Minneapolitan-based ukulele company. So it's out of Minneapolis. And the bottom of the box says this product is known to cause sudden increases in creative expression. Increased happiness may result. Do not operate while driving. Now that sudden increase in creative expression is not just from the music, but because the ukulele is unfinished. You can paint this, you can stain this, you can leave it as it is and let it get your own hand oils rubbed into it, give it its own kind of patina. But as of right now, there's nothing on here, and so when I get done with it, I'll give you another sound sample after this. But I want to read to you some specs on here. First off, before I forget, I want to show you the back. The back is arched very nicely. And you can kind of see it there rocking on the box. Very nicely arched back. So, and they wanted to make this to be an instrument that not only can you be creative with it artistically and paint on it, but it has a solid top, so it will sound good when we're done, and you can still play this and have a good sounding ukulele that you've painted or use some other type of media on it. So this is a solid top, and the top, back, and sides are sapele. The top is solid, the back and sides are laminate. And you can, I'll try to hold it up here so you can kind of see. You can't see any laminate lines in the top. The back, you can see the laminate lines there. So solid top, laminate back and sides, and the solid top sets it apart from other ukulele companies that are doing this naked ukulele thing. The bridge is also attached, so you don't have to mess around with that. The fingerboard and the bridge are walnut, so you don't have to deal with or worry about rosewood in this at all. This is a concert scale. They make concerts and tenors. So this is a walnut fingerboard and bridge. I don't know if I mentioned the ox bone saddle and nut, and the saddle is compensated. As you can see, it's a pin bridge. And one thing with the fingerboard too is you can see there's no fret wires out here. It's because the fret hole wire spots must have been cut with a laser or something, so you don't see them all the way out to the edge. So it's nicely dressed with that walnut. And let's see, is that everything that I want? Oh, Super Nile gut strings come installed. You can kind of see the tag there. Let's see, like it's kind of like Minnie Pearl's hat there. We got the tag still on it. So we got solid sapele top, laminate sapele back and sides, walnut fingerboard and bridge, the oxbone nut and saddle, and the saddle's compensated. You have geared open tuners, which they kind of have a little bit of a imprint on them. They're a little dressier than most, but it's still an open geared tuner. Super Nile got a keyless strings, and the neck is mahogany. The neck is regular mahogany. But the sapele is a type of mahogany from what I understand, and I think if you were to stain it or put a wet coat on it, you'd see the same kind of ribboning as you would in a normal mahogany. So, solid top. I think if I can think of anything else here that I want to say about this. I think right now it lists out at 119 for the concert, 119 right this way with a solid top. So I want to give you a sound sample. I've had it for a couple of days to let the strings settle in a little bit. And just to let you know where I'm at, I'm about 3.5 feet away from my MacBook Pro. That's what this is being recorded into, with the condenser mic that's on the Mac. I have no other miking into this video, so I'll sit back in my rocker here a little bit. So now I'm probably 4 feet maybe away from the condenser mic on my MacBook Pro, and I'll bring this down just a tad, like that. Okay, so here we go, and I'll just give you a little bit of a sound sample, okay? Just a little noodling around. So from now on, I'll be turning off the video, and next time you see this ukulele, it's going to be heavily inspired by something hopefully creative that I do to this ukulele, and then I'll give you another sound sample, and we'll be able to tell that whether I paint it or stain it or whatever I do. Maybe I'll use Sharpies. I have no idea right now what I'm going to do to it. We'll complete the video and you'll have a sound sample from then. So again, this is butterflyukes.com out of Minneapolis. Solid top sapele. Snowflake patterns on the fingerboard, walnut fingerboard. Pretty cool. Anyway, we'll see how creative I can get. See you in a few minutes or a few days or whatever. It's going to take more than a few minutes. Okay, it's been about 2 weeks since the last portion of the video, and I've let my creativity just run wild, if that could ever happen. After all, hey, I'm wearing a plaid shirt and a striped hat. How much more crazy can you get, huh? And the uke that we're working on is a butterflyukes.com concert size ukulele with a sapele solid top and laminate sides and back. The back has a nice arch. Remember, we went through all of this. I'm trying to remind myself how good it is, okay? And it's got a walnut fingerboard with a walnut bridge and bone saddle and nut. Now, my creativity inspiration came from this last year. We were able to be blessed. It's the first time out of the country. We went to Scotland, saw a lot of Kirks and a lot of Abbeys, and I love stained glass. That, and my wife is a quilter, and so seeing all this patchwork design around my home, and from her creativity, I thought I'd do something on the lines of a stained glass window or perhaps a crazy quilt. So here we go, and there's the headstock. There's top, back, sides. The neck, you can tell I left plain. And then I put about 5 very light coats of, I think the brand name was Rust-Oleum Clear Coat with a gloss. You can kind of see it's got a little bit of a shine to it. And what I did was just use the very narrow tape, like painter's tape that peels off easily, and I used acrylic craft paint that comes in those little bottles about that tall, about 80 cents a piece. And I think I bought 5 colors, but you could get by with 3 if you did a lot of custom mixing. I mixed a couple of these colors that were custom, and I just random painted it around, and you can kind of see. So I kind of got a stained glass look, crazy quilt look to it. So this has got very thin coat because I didn't want to hide the grain, so you should be able to see how well the grain still looks through the clear coat. And if you just clear coated this or oiled it, it would be very beautiful ukulele. And then you can kind of see it through the paint as well, hopefully, the texture of the wood. So there we are. Now comes the test, right? Did it change any of the sound? Now I will have to say, this came with the, I think the Super Ukuleles or whatever they were called, and I saved them, but when I went to put them back on, there wasn't enough left on here because as they stretch and you release them, they kind of shrink. So I wasn't able to get them in here. So I replaced them with what I have. So the sound system sample won't be quite perfect because of having to change the strings. And these strings that I put on are Martin M600 soprano concert scale, and this is a concert scale ukulele. One other thing that I did when I had it all apart was I took the action down just a tad by sanding the saddle down just a little bit, just using a block of sandpaper and working that back. And you had to work pretty hard actually because of it being bone. And looking at it, I may have gotten a little bit crooked. So I may go back and take another chance at that. But here, I'll give you a little sound sample now. These are the Martin strings, and I'll try to do the same sound sample, okay? Now, one thing that I think would be really cool with this uke, and I do think it still sounds great, but when you think about your own creativity, say you're a busker and you're out on the street and you want a ukulele that might have your own busking name on it, or perhaps you're a part of a little band and you want to have, or a big band and you want to put the band's logo on it. You can do that on here. Just tons of room for creativity. So hey, have fun with it. Butterflyukes.com. And again, this is a disclaimer. They gave me this to try out. The one thing that was different, I will have to say, and that is the pin bridge where it holds the strings. I'd never encountered a pin bridge before, so I'll give you this little tip. When you pull the pins, there's a little slot through that pin, and it doesn't go all the way through. It's kind of more of a groove. Well, when you pull out your strings, it's either a tight knot, and these actually come with like a little silver barrel on them. You make your knot with that silver barrel on there. Then as you slide the string through the hole, you then guide that string up that groove of the pin. Okay, so it kind of goes up the groove, and then you're able to snap it in. And otherwise, it's kind of like a string through bridge, except you want to get these pins nice and tight. And I've not had a problem with them. Just make sure the string lines up with that groove so that it doesn't get jammed in the hole, and it'll come out and it'll hold friction then with that little barrel that's in there. Hope that makes sense. So that's the only thing that I encountered that was new, was that pin bridge. It's a little bit different for restringing. Just a little learning curve. I had never done it before. So have fun. It's a great little ukulele. Check them out. $120 I think, $119 I think for the concert.